Welcome to Toffee TV. This is the match preview, Everton versus Watford. Before we start, this video is sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball's app makes it easy to keep up to date with transfer news, scores and stats in one place. To download the OneFootball app, click the link below in the description. It's very, very good. I've got it, full of stats. Get on it, it's free. You won't regret it. Let's get into this preview. Watford at home.
Yeah.
Forrest, joined by Forrest from the United States. He's here to give me all his knowledge on Watford.
I know a lot.
He knows a lot, so there you go.
We beat him in a cup final.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you need to know.
Exactly.
Now it's going to be a tough game, isn't it? They're a good side, quick side on the break, physical side as well. Obviously, Marco Silva involved with 3 or 4 or 5 of their players at least last season. But it's a game Everton have got to win, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially since we've drawn last night, really, frustrated the fans. I think we'll come out expecting to win that. And if we don't, you're going to find a lot more dissent as we continue to go into December.
That's it. I mean, we had obviously the disappointment of the derby.
Yeah.
And I think if we'd have beat Newcastle, I think everyone would have kind of gone, right, move on now, let's go.
Yeah.
But obviously, we drew at Newcastle. Frustrating game. Didn't do enough offensively to beat them. I expect this game to be a little bit more open because I don't think Watford will come and just put everyone behind the ball, because I think they've got some good offensive players as well. I'm not saying they're going to be gung-ho.
Right.
They'll obviously come and try and be compact, but I feel as though they'll feel that they can win the game.
Yeah, I mean, they'll definitely try to hit us on the break a bit more than Newcastle did. I think once Newcastle got their goal, they shut up shop.
Yeah.
And even when we equalized, they weren't really looking to break as much.
No.
They could have won it at the end. That's, neither here nor there. Watford will try and come and have a go at us.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, who knows if some of the players have some feelings towards Silva. I doubt it. That's not usually, I don't think there was any bad blood between him and the players, but they'll be up for it, and the manager will make sure they're up for it as well.
I mean, there's a lot of spice to the game with what went on with Marco Silva. And obviously Richarlison.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the Watford fans thought that Richarlison would stay, and he wanted to come to Everton and wanted to work with Silva again. So there's that little added spice to it. Last season, both games were settled by a single goal. Obviously, we beat Watford 3-2 at Goodison. They beat us 1-0 away. The Goodison game, actually, a little fact for you, and this come from the OneFootball app. Everton became only the 3rd team to turn a 2-goal lead to recover from being 2 down to win 3-2 when the game has been 0-0 at half-time in the Premier League era. Yeah. So we've done something.
Yeah,
something not a lot of people have done, quite clearly. Yeah, I mean, when you look at the table, like I said before, there's 3 points between the two sides. So obviously, it is a proverbial 6-pointer, this game. I think for Watford, they've lost 3 on the run, but 2 of those 3 were Liverpool and Manchester City, top 2 sides in the league. So obviously, there's no sort of great shame in losing to those 2 sides. 2 excellent teams. I think for Everton, I think we've got I'm hoping that we'll be fresh. We should be by then, because the energy levels weren't what we've been used to.
Right.
I mean, you've seen a couple of games while you've been over here. I'm sure you'll agree that the energy levels against Cardiff, one of the games you saw, compared to Newcastle, it seemed to be, there was a big difference, wasn't there?
Well, I mean, they put a lot into the derby, and I think despite the loss, even if it ended a draw, we would have still felt that same energy levels against Newcastle. But when we come out against Watford, we have to be ready. We'll have to make sure that we don't give them those chances to break and step up. And like you said, we'll be fresh. I'm expecting Silva to probably go back to what he's been doing before, having Walcott on the wing, Richarlison up front. I think he'll probably end up going with that. His experiment with Tosin just to rotate a bit didn't seem to work. I can't really see him starting Calvert-Lewin yet. He still seems to be like somebody who just comes off the bench for about 15 minutes or so to try to offer something different.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think Richarlison will be up for it as well. I think just any time a player plays against his old club, it always seems to have a little bit more spark in it. Yeah. Which is why I think maybe De La Feu might get a chance to make something happen. So.
Yeah. I mean, he's been on the bench, hasn't he, of late, Jerry? They've been going with success, and Pereira, who's a real threat from Watford's point of view. He's got 5 goals this season. He started the season absolutely brilliantly, dropped off a little bit of late. Obviously Troy Deeney as being the target man, he's a handful. You know, he knocks you about a little bit. Would you expect Marco Silva to go back to Michael Keane and Mina, or do you think he'll leave Mina and Zuma for now? And it's Michael Keane's turn to have a blow off.
Yeah, I mean, he seems happy with Mina so far, and he likes what he's seen from him. And I don't think Mina's really put a foot wrong for the most part. He's shown himself well. I think Keane will come back into the side. He was just, I think, a bit of a rest for Wednesday. Okay. And Zuma came in and didn't play bad either. So again, it's one of those issues they highlighted in Silva's press conference. He's got 3 informed center backs, so however he decides to rotate them, they seem to work well with each other. Yeah. So whoever he comes in, I think, Troy Deeney is one of those players that seems to always gives us a little bit of a game. Yeah. And he always is a handful for us, even if he might not be so against other teams. So, I mean, we'll see. I think whoever's at center back will be more than capable of handling them. It's just everybody else around them.
Yeah. I think lots of runners and stuff. Yeah, because they've been playing 4-1-4-1, or certainly that's what they've used of late. They've had Nathan Chalobah sat in front of the back 4, and then they've got Decore, who's a fantastic midfield player, who I know Everton are very interested in the summer. And I suppose he's the type of player that Marco Silva would love to get his hands on. He'd be a natural. I think he'd be a natural replacement for Garner. Only with a little bit more offensively than what Garner's got. So you can have him. You've got Will Hughes, who's a good footballer who likes to break into the box. So we have, these have got players who can cause us problems. But by the same token, like I said before, I'm expecting the game to be a bit more open, and that's where we do hurt teams. When teams come and open up the play, we're able to cut through them. And I just wonder if, obviously he played Lookman against Newcastle and he was in and out, wasn't he? He showed some bits of this play were good and other bits he went missing a little bit. I just wonder if he'll go back to Bernard, Richarlison and Walcott, because that has been the team that's generally been on a good run of late, and they've had 5 days to freshen that back up now. I mean, do you think the same? Do you think he'll just revert to what suppose he would think of as his best 11? I think
so. Yeah, I think especially with Watford being a bit more of a step up in opposition from Newcastle, somebody who, again, you said, is not going to sit back, who's not going to look to keep everything in front of them. They're going to try to break a bit more and play their game. I could see Bernard making his way back into the side. I mean, he does well down that left. He seems to have a bit of a partnership with Dean, and that's always something you want with your fullbacks, and fullbacks are very important to our game. And yeah, I mean, I think that's what will happen. I can't imagine him dropping one of Sigurdsson. Richarlison's never going to leave the side. No. Unless he gets hurt, because he's what everything goes through. He seems to pop up everywhere for goals. So.
Well, I mean, he's got 7 in 13 for us this season, which is a good return. He got 5 in 38 for Watford last season, so he's already doing a little bit better. I mean, it's difficult with Richarlison because he's moved into the centre, and that's coincided with us being better and looking better. He got put back on the left against Newcastle, but didn't really stay out on the left, and has scored a goal from that left hand side. So it's difficult what you play him in, but like we said on the final word Newcastle thing, I think the thing with Richarlison is at the moment him being our centre forward works the best for us. And while we're not able to bring another one in at the minute, rather than moving 3 or 4 pieces, we may as well just leave those 3. Maybe rotate Lookman and Bernard, maybe, or Lookman and Walcott, but leave whichever one you do, leave 2 of the other 3 in that side, so you're not almost ripping it up. Like the other night against Newcastle, we put Richarlison back to the left, Bernard and Walcott came out, Lookman and Tosin came in. And even though on paper you looked at them and it's okay, it's a chance for Tosin tonight, it's a chance for Lookman, the team didn't play the same way. Now that might have been through fatigue as well, without taking anything away from Newcastle, because they obviously defended brilliantly, but we just didn't have the same spark. It wasn't even our spark was there, and it was brilliant defended by Newcastle. We were slow, so we made it easier for them. And I think that's probably the conundrum that Marco Silva's got at the minute, is if I rotate, how do I almost have the same blueprint as what I have every other week without it dropping?
I mean, I think long term, I don't think Richarlison takes up that center forward spot. He can play it well because he's a good offensive, attacking player. But I don't know, when it comes to him holding up the ball, when it comes to him kind of trying to generate overall play, it's hard for him as a center forward. He likes to run with the ball. He likes to be able to come down the wings and cut inside. That's his game. And I don't know, and it's for me with Richarlison, it's frustrating watching him as a center forward sometimes because he's the kind who he likes to take contact. He likes to create the contact before he gets the ball, and then use that to create space for himself. But as a center forward, he's always going up against somebody that's probably going to be stronger than him as a center half, and he just falls down. And whether he gets a foul or not, I mean, it comes into his game. It gets very frustrating to watch sometimes for him, where he just stays down and he complains and wants that foul, and then he seems to get into his own head that I don't know whether he can't play or whether he's not getting the calls that he wants, so he's not going to do as much. I don't know, but long term, he belongs down the left, and where Bernard belongs in that team, he'll still find that. He's still a great player, Bernard, and he's still finding his feet in the Premier League. He was obviously out for a long time with Shakhtar as well with an injury, so.
That's it. I mean, I think the thing with Bernard is he can play down the right. He's that guy. He can play in the 10.
Yeah.
I know he had 10 minutes the other night in the 10 and it didn't really work, but it didn't really work because nothing else was really working.
Right, yeah.
Whereas, if you did have that pace of Richarlison down one side, and you could have Bernard down the other if you had a centre forward who had the pace as well, or if you had Walcott one side, Richarlison the other, Bernard as the 10. There's I think Bernard's got to play in our team because I think he's such a clever footballer. Yeah. Loads of ability, works hard. I mean, at Anfield, I thought he was magnificent.
Yeah, absolutely.
At Anfield, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna be an interesting game for sure. Theo Walcott hoping to make his 300th appearance, becoming only the 125th player in the history of the Premier League to reach that. Another little stat: the last 10 goals scored between these two sides have all come in the second half. So suggesting that first 45 minutes is a little bit of cat and mouse, and then it opens up, and that's where the goals come from. But is it? Like I said before, and I don't know whether is it a game where we're gonna have to be patient? Do you think, or do you just think it's gonna be a Premier League ding dong kind of game?
I mean, we've kind of been having a lot of slow starts recently, and I think for us to really kind of get into the game, we're going to need to step it up a bit in the beginning. So I think the 10 goals in the second half thing. We've had Koeman for a couple of years now that we had Allardyce, we were never a team that was really looking to get goals in the first half. It was just kind of creating whatever happened in front of us. But I don't know. I'd like to see us step it up a bit and get the early goal and really make Watford open themselves up even more and batter them if we could. I think we're better than Watford. I think the manager's a bit better. I like Silva a lot, and obviously he's got that history with Watford, but I don't know. I think as long as we get that first goal, kind of like akin to Newcastle, don't let them shut up shop and really break on us with the pace that they have.
I mean, I agree. The first goal in most, if not all, Premier League games is massive. It changes the dynamics of the game totally. What I would say about Watford is they do carry a real threat. They're a good side, and they've got some really good players. They will carry a threat, but we're at home. And I feel as though we are slightly stronger than them. That's what I would say. And hopefully we can get the 3 points because we need it. And if we get the 3 points, then that's 6 points between us and Watford. There's a little cushion there. We've got a couple of big games coming up after that, difficult games. So you want to try, you're having to win those battles with teams like Watford around you, and Bournemouth and United and Leicester, because we're all bunched up at the moment. So it's a vital game for us to get the 3 points. If we do, then we'll go to City with a lot of confidence. But let's get at them right from the first whistle and let them know that they're in a game, rather than letting them feel their way into the game.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you need to be at them right away.
That's it. And you're going home on Monday, aren't you? You're just not here long enough for the game.
Well, I was here for it originally, and then they moved it.
And then they moved
there's not a lot I can do about that.
No.
It costs a lot to change flights these days.
So will you be flying at the time the game's on, or are you back in the US?
I'm not sure. I'm flying from Dublin to Boston.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'll have to check my flight times. What time's the kickoff? Is it
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock kickoff. I might be able to catch it. It might. It all depends on when.
Personally, I would check my flight times if I was you, because you don't want to be missing planes.
No, of course.
Because it costs a lot, but. I'm sure wherever you are, you'll catch the score. Big thanks
of course,
for coming in and joining us. Appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Takes a sec. Join us on Patreon if you want more videos. Download the One Football app if you want stats and the rest of it. And a big thanks for watching. See you soon on Toffee TV.